Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. This is Paul. It is good to be with you. I am back from a little bit of a hiatus here. And we have immediately summoned the spirit of Rudy Catootie. So, as you know, Rudy Catootie is a far-left alter ego of mine. And he likes to keep everything pure and straight on this channel for me, and he wouldn't miss a show, and that's the truth. That's the sad reality. So welcome back, Rudy Catootie. It's still good to have you here, because sometimes you correct me on my failed poor English. So he's probably in the medical field. He doesn't like it when I talk about the scam and how so many people got rich on the scam. And you see, you people are all sodomized. And my subs, of course, you are excluded from this. Let's see if I'm going to get hit by a car there. When I talk about the scam of 2020, the covert operation, the ability to make people rich that have millions that will oppress you more, which is probably the only thing that Rudy Catootie will agree with me on, is that the rich do take advantage of the poor, and it's the main sticking point right now. And we'll get into a little bit of this morning. It's going to be a rich mosaic. Don't you like that word, Rudy? Mosaic. I don't know what it means, but it sounds good here. Actually, that's probably true. Mosaic, I know it has something to do with like artwork or something. Mosaic, something like deep, rich colors and so forth. So we'll go with that. And I'll have to let Rudy kind of correct me on that. He'll probably come up with the Webster's dictionary version of it, whatever it is. The idea being that this is going to be a multifaceted, I don't know what that really means either, but something to do with like a lot of different things, okay? Look, I just got to be straight up with you folks, okay? I mean, my hypocrisy knows no bounds, as you all know. Well, as you folks may or may not know, I'm 63 years old. And I'm telling you folks, whatever I picked up December 20th, by the 22nd of December, it really started to knock me out. And those videos are gone now. But, boy, I will tell you, pneumonia will kill a man and a woman. Or a person very quickly. I was very lucky that I survived on that. I've had, fluid in the lungs before, but that was ridiculous. It took me about 12 days to get through the initial real hard part, and then my fever came down because I was on aspirin for I was on 24 hours a day on aspirin for about 7-8 days, maybe 10 days. So maybe it was 10 days and it came down, but I still kind of had it. You have that gurgle in your lungs. You can still go out and do things, and I believe they call it walking pneumonia. And I had that up until about the end of December. So early part of January, I was walking, and I didn't do anything in particular like that. I didn't do any of that, but I just kind of went like that. And like whatever came out of my lungs was not from this planet. It was from something you'd see on fucking, fucking Mars or something. Mercury. It was ridiculous. And that's what kills people. I could have thrown it 30 feet or more. It was ridiculous. So I was real happy to get through with that. Anyways, we will get on to the topic at hand here shortly, because we mustn't disappoint Rudy today. And I will deal with that in a second. And yes, we will be talking about politics today. I will do my soapbox for you. And it is, I'm going to try to walk about 10 miles today. I failed miserably yesterday. I did about 3.5 miles. If I was lucky, I did 4. That's it. And I'm very disappointed with that. The weather is cool, and you can do limitless walking here by the hour when it's cool and it only gets up to 75 degrees or 73. And I mean, you're just talking about spectacular walking weather. So I must focus a little bit on this and try to do a little better, because Rudy Catudi told me that in his own special way, he says, I'm not getting any better. I'm looking like I'm more haggard and looking more distressed, and I'm not looking good. That's what I'm paraphrasing that. But the one comment that I got was from Rudy Catudi as I almost get hit by a car. Almost. So according to Rudy, I'm just not looking very good. So I shall try to remedy that for Rudy, because he's here for every single video. Anyways, let's talk about, and you know what? I didn't see it because I was working, but there was a Super Bowl halftime show fiasco. And folks, if you think for a moment that you haven't lost your country, I suggest you look again. I didn't even see it, but it is very clear, what this is all about. We had a player, a New England Patriots player, that turned his back on the national anthem. That's the first thing. And the second thing is they had a performer there named Bad Bunny, which I'm sure Rudy Catudi knows all about Bad Bunny. Now, I don't know anything about Bad Bunny, other than I know the name is for exposition. Please forgive me. I confused it with there used to be a thing, I was thinking about it the other day. This is more or less a story time mixed in with current events. When I was a very little boy, we were in Connecticut, and there used to be something called the World's Fair. I don't think it exists anymore. I haven't heard of it in a long, long time, maybe 20 years. Ever since there were computers, it's kind of like that's over with, because since 85 or something, or 90, because the World's Fair was like a big event. It was a really big event, and I remember it. I was really young, so it must have been the 1966 World's Fair. It was either 66 or 67. And I remember being uncomfortable because I was just a child. And we went to, I forgot where it was, but it was either in 66 or 67. And what was it, in Pennsylvania, Philly or something? I forgot now. It was either Philly or Trenton or New York City, but whatever it was far. And we drove out there, and the only two things I remember about that World's Fair was, number one, my auntie bought some golf balls, like a 3-pack, and it said World's Fair 1966, whatever it was. I remember that, and I remember going up to a place where they had a big vat of paint, and the woman that was doing it kept putting a lot of different paint mixed in together and swirling it up. And then she took a candle holder or something like that, and she dunked it in and brought it to the top, and it made the most beautiful design. I can't remember anything more than that about that whole thing. But back then, things were all different. So I don't know what got me sidetracked onto that. However, we're going to get back here to Bad Bunny. That's what it was. Bad Bunny is a name for exposition, which invokes stupidity and ignorance, and it appeals to the low-hanging fruit, if you know what I mean. So I don't know anything about Bad Bunny. All I know is that what I read this morning, and that's why I'm making this video. Folks, the country's gone. It basically started with, I can't even remember his name now, but the black guy with the big afro at the quarterback, Kaepernick, was that his name? I forgot now. And he was a good quarterback. That guy had a good arm. I was surprised. I looked at some video of him. He was a good quarterback. Make no mistake about it. He was a political activist, and he started this whole monkey business with, kneeling and turning your back and taking a whiz or whatever. That's going to be the new thing. Okay, the players will start taking a whiz. Okay, during the national anthem. That'll be next. You watch. You laugh here. Right? You come here to this channel and you laugh about some of the things that I say, and then it comes true. And my last channel, I told you, I predicted, it was like 3 channels ago, I predicted that there would be a warning for long hemorrhoids for the COVID-19 scam. And they kept coming out and tell us about this and how it went on. And I told that story about my ex-friend. I never really told you about how we ended it. My friend, I believe, was really very dependent on certain things. And I won't get into it because I know for sure that he is dependent on certain things. And I will not get into it. And it affects one's behavior, you understand, pretty seriously. Especially when you're 6'8" and you're wearing a size 16 shoe, and it just, you got the world at your tentacles there. So I went over there to see him, and of course he's living large, and I'm not making this up, and he was trying to figure out which one of the 7 plutonium Casio watches, whatever it was, it was some sort of weird platinum variant or something, but whatever it was very fashionable. And he's trying to pick out which one he wants to wear. And, of course, they're all hanging around his house. And so he picks it up, and he puts it on, and then we go out. And to be nice, to be fair, he bought a green drink, I don't know if it was an avocado pick-me-up or whatever it is. I don't know what it was. But it was a nice drink, and they were like $8 or $9. They were very expensive. So he came out, and the straw that I had a little thing on top, had like a third of the wrapper, and I took it off, and it was like this. So I put it out of the window of my car, which I probably shouldn't have done. That was the end of the world to him. I'm not making this up. This is absolutely gospel. And this was enough to set the gears in motion. He stepped back. What happened was the little piece of paper, the end piece of the straw that, keeps it sanitary, I put that out of my window and it dropped on his magnificent place there, all 2 acres of it, or 1.5 acres, whatever it is. And this to him was completely unacceptable. And he mentioned it to me. And this is going a little deep into psychology, but basically when you're obsessive compulsive, things like this they're not going to be able to be tolerated. I got a guy at work right now that's exactly like that at that store. He's exactly like that. And this 6'8" fella, he was no exception. And when you add the dependency factor, it becomes really toxic, severely toxic. He looked at me, and it was honest. I got to give him credit for being honest. And he goes, "Dude." And when he went, because it dropped onto his kingdom, you understand? So this tiny little piece of paper, I dropped it down. He goes, "Dude." I took the soda, or whatever the hell this was, and I threw it right straight out the window. This made him rear back like this and seriously consider socking me. And I don't like to be socked. And I just sat there I was in my car. I just got my car back then. It was like, this is like 2.5 years ago. And he thought the better of it, fortunately, and came up with Plan B. Plan B was to it was either his drink. No, I don't think it was his drink. I threw mine out the window because I was so done with this whole thing with his kingdom. And I didn't say anything. I just put it out the window, and it had a top on it, so it didn't spill out. So he went to Plan B, which was a good one. I should say good one. That's let me give you a tip. If you ever want to really irritate minorities, especially like black people, if they're working, whatever. Like, there's a manager at 7-Eleven that I just irritate all the time. And she's not going to be building rockets for NASA anytime soon. But she sure is the manager over there. Whenever I go in there, I always use terms that are old Southern English. And it aggravates black people in general. They pick up on it real quick, too. I don't always do it, but I do it sometimes. And, belly up is one of them. And then a fancy, that's kind of another one, although you might debate whether it's from the South. And let's see, right charming would be another one. Things like this. So if you say it at certain times, they pick up on the fact, and it just affects their behavior. They get very aggravated with you. They don't like to hear anything about this. So I kind of do that on purpose sometimes, just for giggles and laughs. My friend went to Plan B, picked up the still functioning drink, and that was after he had reared back and thought the better of that, and then because he had already smacked his bitch up. So when you smack your bitch up, 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 right? So he was already under the gun here, legally speaking, criminally speaking, for slapping his bitch up because things didn't kind of go well. They were kind of experimenting with some things to be done with three of them. And it didn't really work out. It kind of sort of looked like it was going to work out, but it didn't. And he was at Disney World, and one thing led to another, and photos were taken. Let's just put it to you that way, okay? So, in a very wonderful, I'm having trouble collecting my thoughts this morning. Gesture is the word I'm looking for. Maybe not even gesture. He just rethunked the whole thing. So he picked up, instead of slugging me, he picked up, because after all, if you drop a piece of your straw off, that is really not good, folks. I mean, you should be socked. You understand? So Plan B was he took the green drink that was filled with all sorts of nice things, I must admit. He was nice enough to get it for me. And he picked it up off the ground, and then he threw it as hard as he could at my windshield. And it made it green. So I had a yellow bug with green avocado, or whatever the hell that was, all over the windshield. And I didn't really know what to do. I never said a word. And I just left. And when you die, do you want something like that left open? He's never contacted me to apologize because he can't let go of his kingdom. His kingdom is precious and sacred, and nothing, not even a little top of a straw, can be dropped on his property lest you go through this. So, this is more or less a story time, okay? So, the person there has never contacted me again. Can you imagine going to your death with something as glaring as that? I'm telling you the honest to God truth. That's a real, true story. The only reason he didn't sock me is because He's already facing charges for that, for not for me, but for something else, which I know for a fact because I saw the photos, and I know the whole sordid mess that brought that on. So we won't get into that anymore. Where are we at? Bugs Bunny, or whatever his name is, Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny there evidently did some rapping or whatever it was in Spanish. And I looked last night and I saw that a Republican congressman is asking for an investigation of the NFL and of the, CBS or NBC or whatever the channel was, for violation of standards, because, I mean, I didn't see it, so I can't really comment on it, but I can kind of form a mental picture of it, and it's a bunch of leftists and minorities that are shaking their groove thing and gyrating and so forth and so on. And I read into the article, and it said that the congressman there, I don't know what his name was, or if he's from the South or the North, I don't know what the deal was. But he said that it was like going past the standards. And he called it, this is his word, not my word, smut. I'd have a different name for it. I just nonsense. Just making morality not applicable anymore. A gay person is just as good as a straight person, etc., etc. All this kind of stuff that we know is not true. But you don't like me when I say that. Well, go take a look. I read this book called Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex, but was afraid to ask. It was written by an army psychologist. I remember that to this day. I read it in about 1994. I know Rudy's sitting there amazed that I could read. Yeah, that's true, Rudy. I actually did read this. I read a good portion of that. And he just basically, his thoughts on it were that he saw gay men in the army as almost like children, like naughty children. And, you know, with his interviews that he did with them, he saw them as something different, more of an immature quality. And then that kind of is backed up by Gene Shepard's book, In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, because he says that there's like a wall, an invisible wall that all men have to get through, all boys have to get through to be men. And, you know, I told you this before about the Cheyenne and the Sioux. Oftentimes those Indian tribes, and don't forget they fought with each other mercilessly over land and other things. And they were extremely brutal at times. Really, really savage. And for reasons like this, the Cheyenne really didn't have any issue with a young man wanting to stay home and sew garments with the women. And if he didn't have the nature for it, they allowed him to do that. And this was pretty much accepted by the Cheyenne in general. I know that to be a fact. Other tribes would not accept that. They would feel like all men, if you were a boy child, you had to fight or become skilled with the bow and arrow or whatever else. So every culture has their own way of dealing with this. But the Super Bowl halftime show, although I didn't see it, I kind of get it. The congressman said that he wants a full investigation, and he called it mocking America. And I couldn't agree more. Although I didn't see it, I already get the picture. It was a Spanish rap fest, according to what he said, and it's just making fun of white American society. Basically, that's kind of what he said. It is probably true. I didn't see it, but I saw parts of it where they were shaking their booty. The women practically falling out of whatever was on top there. I saw that. So they were doing that groove thing. And I guess it was so bad that the Turning Point, is that what they call it? That group, the Turning Point, I guess it was something to do with Charlie, that poor guy that died from getting shot through his neck or whatever it was. The Turning Point. There were a couple of musicians. Jake Paul, the fighter, did not go for this, and he went over to a different thing. I forget what it was called. The Turning Point. America's, whatever, Super Bowl halftime. And Kid Rock, I think, was another one. But Kid Rock has got his hands full right now because he was talking like Kiss, that musical group Kiss with Christine 16, about getting jiggy with a little, a certain, a high school girl. That's what that song was about. And it was pretty clear. And Kid Rock, of course, that was wrote in 1975 or something like that. That was a long time ago. And or 76, whatever it was, when they first started out and things were different. And Kid Rock has got his hands full now because he was, singing about how good it was to be with a certain age of woman, if you want to call it a woman. So that also has its problems. Kid Rock had his show canceled from what I saw. I forget where it was at. I forgot the state it was in, but they canceled. Too many of the singers pulled out. Forgive the term. So there we have it. That's my soapbox for this morning. Little touches of the state fair, the World's Fair, and what else? My friend throwing his 20-ounce green elixir on my windshield, never to call back and apologize, but to lament over that little piece of paper straw that went onto his lawn with such indifference by me. It was just, I don't think he'll ever let it go. Folks, you come here, you worship me as a God, you make your beliefs I reversed it. You make my beliefs your beliefs, okay? You'll be a lot smarter. No matter what Rudy Katootie tells you. Rudy, you have a good day, buddy. And I know you never miss a show. So, folks, take care, subscribe, worship me as a God. I have no boundaries when it comes to self-importance. Take care. Bye. Thank you if you sub. Be nobody. Welcome to the Mickey Mouse Club. Bye.